You see it in the distance. At first, nothing but the conical top of a spire, appearing like a tower, like a turret of some kind. And you continue approaching, following the long line of refugees across the hillsides, through the fields and over hills and plains, until you crest this next hill. Before you, a city, a spire, huge, looming, rises into the air. Surrounding it, multi-tiered terraces with buildings and bustling people, and at the top, a palace. You can see, as the dirty haze, this thick fog rolls across the plains, it seems to rise like the jagged fin of some massive shark, ready to consume anything that approaches. The refugees are quiet, somber, scared, their eyes downcast, their carts laden with goods, the things they were able to salvage. The war has extracted a heavy toll upon the land. Silmir, you stand at the head of a cart, loaded with cages with chickens in them, and other sundry goods. Several other fill-in refugees surround it, all simply playing the part of making it look more realistic. And within the cages, polymorphed, are the players. So essentially, Silmir, you're leading this wagon, while in the bed in the cages are the party has taken potions of polymorph and become chickens to pass inspection. You see that the magic nullifying orb is down. So you feel that they have succeeded in some way. The men and women who are going to prepare passage for you into the city, the help you were promised. What is Silmir thinking as you approach the city?
Silmir is trying to distract himself from thinking too much about the horrors that have been happening to the refugees. I mean, looking around and seeing these people, he's an undercover agent, but he had to live for several years in refugee camps, and in order to make it a believable story. And so during that time, he's come to really empathize with these people and feel for their sorrows and all the stuff that they're going through. And so to sort of try to keep his mind off that, he's talking to these chickens, since they can't talk back right now. And he's sort of saying, oh, do not worry, my companions, my feathery friends. In the city, I have this contact. She's fantastic. Her name is Siri. I'm sure we'll meet her when we're in there. She's also a part of the same organization as I am, and she's a great informant. Fantastic. She knows many things. You can ask her anything, and she will tell you the answer. For example, you could say, "Hey Siri, what's the weather like in Falhast?" And she will answer, and she will tell you what the weather is like. Or you could say, "Hey Siri, send a message to my friend over at the bar," and she will send that message. Fantastic contact. You'll be delighted to meet her. And sort of babbling on about stuff.
You realize the chicken you're talking to suddenly isn't one of the polymorph players, as it turns its head and looks at you and pecks the bars.
I kind of scooch back and I say, "Oh, come now, Akrund." And that's my familiar. My familiar, I can summon every time it died in the last game. Every time I summon it, I can have it take a new form. And to go with the masquerade, my familiar is also a chicken right now.
Perfect. Yeah, as you're talking essentially to the cages, some some of the other refugees would be looking at you like, what the heck, is this guy cracked? But like they look away, like, like we've all experienced hardships. Maybe some people are just broken more than others. And you're part of a long line now. You've been waiting in this line for the better part of the day. Moving up towards the city, you see that the guards are inspecting every cart, inspecting every bushel, every barrel, everything. And worryingly enough, you see among them there are two magikers who scan each cart briefly before letting it go through. Sebastian, what are you thinking?
Probably thinking a lot like a chicken right now. Do I actually think as a polymorph, or do I?
Polymorph, your intelligence doesn't change, just your physical attributes.
So you probably see a chicken pretty nervously clucking along as he's clearly under some distress, getting through this gates of the Whitespire is a do or die situation for them, and it's been that for as long as Sebastian can remember. Now it feels, obviously it hasn't been that long, but it feels like every day is now life or death for him and his party. So even though he's in chicken form, you see that his feathers are all ruffled, and he's going along kind of under distress and is bumping into other chickens, not really able to calm down as he's kind of going up to like the guards to be scanned. He's thinking that if they are caught, this is it.
What about you, Briff?
As the other chickens, both real chickens and polymorphed, people into chickens are clucking around and such, there's one more off to the side, Briff, who's just kind of sitting there. Looks like it might be cleaning its feathers, pruning its wings some, but very quiet. A lot more than the others. Every now and then, Sebastian bumps into him, gets a response back, but kind of a half a response. As Briff's sitting there, looking at its slightly damaged wing, as his mind is going through the last couple days. He's used to being the talkative one, but he's never been through what he has now. He's never been tortured for information. He's never had to flee for his life. And it's starting to all of a sudden just catch up to him that this is real. He almost died less than a week ago. He's watched someone who was once his best friend die. And on, his mind's starting to realize the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, there's a vast weight that rests upon you all. This realization that things are more real than they've ever been. And as you draw closer and closer to the city, Silmir still chatting nervously about Siri and the other people he knows in the city. Silmir, roll me a perception check.
That's going to be an 18 plus 7, 25.
I believe that will pass. As you are kind of like standing there, your cart moving closer and closer to the city, you see on the wall of the city, hanging ropes attached to their arms, 3 bodies. And as you draw closer and closer, you recognize 2 of them. You see 2 tieflings and an elf strung up on this wall. You immediately recognize Siri. Her head is drooped forward. you see that her clothing is just stained and bloodied. You recognize as well the another tiefling named Arshun, who kind of hangs right next to her. His head lolling to the side. You see that his body, the both of them are very burned and scorched. A very obvious trail of blood moving from his throat down his chest. You know that his throat's been cut, but you can't tell for sure what happened to Siri. The third figure is an elf, who you see is hung up next to them, strung up. A female. You can see that she is burnt as well. These three, and painted beneath them, you see written in their own blood the price of betrayal. That's what it says.
Selmir would sort of cut off mid-sentence as he's talking to the chickens and look up there and kind of bow his head and just shake it and quickly glance up, looking left and right at the two magikers that are going cart to cart, a renewed fear in his eyes from this terrible omen. Things are not going well here for his organization. With these people having been discovered, the alert is going to be higher than usual, and the price is steeper.
With a 25 perception, as you get closer and closer to the gate, you would also see that these two magikers, they look spent. Like their eyes are just like bloodshot. Their lids purpled and dark. As you can see, they probably haven't slept in a very long time. You see that their scanning is more of like a, yes, you did get a long rest. Their scanning is more of like a they're doing it because they've been ordered to. They're not doing it really like effectively. Though you know that all it takes is one good look and they might catch something. As you get nearer, closer and closer, what's your passive perception? Oh, I can see right here, 17. You see Siri's foot twitch.
Holy shit. All right, instantly thoughts start racing through his mind. How is he going to get up there? How is he going to manage to save her? Can he put another body in its place? Like, plans just instantly start formulating. What are his resources in the city? He's like, sort of, his head is down, but his eyes are like darting back and forth, trying to see like where on the wall she is, trying to think how much time he thinks he has. Yeah, he's gonna instantly, his mind switches from terror mode into planning mode, you said she's strung up by ropes.
So essentially, they've got a rope tied around each of their arms, like they're strung up, like hanging from these ropes. And then in their between their feet, there's another rope tied around their ankles that stretches up onto the wall behind them as well. So they're kind of leaning out, almost like parapet angels in a strange way.
And do I see like where the ropes are attached up top?
Yeah, you'd see several poles kind of extended off of the wall and rising up. The ropes are wrapped around. Several guards kind of stand up there too, watching the refugees pass underneath. You think the wall would be manned by maybe like 15, 20 guards right now at this area.
Got it. And how high up are they off the ground?
So the walls are probably about 100 feet tall. So they're probably, they're pretty big city walls. So they're probably 100 feet tall. And these bodies hanging off of them are maybe 60 feet off the ground, 70 feet.
So not easy to drop them.
Yeah, no, not at all. If you drop them, they'd probably kill them.
Right. Unless I cast Featherfall. Awesome. So obviously there's nothing Silmir can do right now with all the guards around in plain daylight, and so he kind of just mutters under his breath, stay strong, Siri. I'm coming for you. And as he says that, he sort of exhales it, and he's got a bead of sweat, and his breathing sort of accelerates. You can tell that he's anyone looking closely at him, if any of the chickens were peering closely at Selmir, you could tell that he's very affected by the fact that Siri is strung up there. Perhaps someone that in a former life or previously he had a relationship with.
Yeah, as you're kind of like you glance back down, take a deep breath. I imagine your eyes pass over just one more time, and you would see that her head is slightly lifted, and her eyes would be open, half drooped, and her eyes would lock with yours, and you would see recognition on her face just briefly, and she would just give the slightest shake of her head.
And I would nod back at her. And in fact, I have this cantrip called Message, which lets me whisper a message and they can answer, and it's under my breath. It's like super discreet. And so if she locks eyes with me and I actually see that she's conscious, I'm going to message her. And I sort of like shake my head down and like cough a little bit. And I tell her, stay strong, Siri. I'm coming for you. I'm going to get you off that wall.
All you'd get back, you would get back. Oh, what would Siri say? Don't be foolhardy.
Just don't die up there. Help is coming. And then the message fizzles out. It doesn't last very long.
Yeah, and you would see just like a single tear, just one. That's all she can manage. Just drips down her face and falls with the rest of the rain that begins to descend around you. The other two bodies swinging lifelessly with the wind. Hers barely managing to remain upright with what little strength she has. You know that her time is limited. You know that somebody in that kind of a position held like that, it's very difficult to breathe. So if her strength goes out, she's going to suffocate. As you look up at her and then look back down, you realize that suddenly you're the next in line. All this contemplating, all this planning has made the time go by a little faster than you thought it would, and suddenly you're the next person in line. Roll me a deception check to maintain your composure.
I have a little deception. 14.
Okay. You're convincing enough that they don't look at you specifically, like trying to like discern if you're hiding something. But you're a little fidgety.
Yeah.
The guards kind of like stop you. Their pikes crossing over the road in front of you. Name. You can tell that he's just done with this. He's so tired of letting refugees into the city.
Garfinkel.
Did you say Garfunkel?
Garfinkel.
Okay. I think we're going to get some band names going on in here. Okay, Garfinkel. He kind of like gives you this look. I'm sorry. Terrible. Yes, Garfinkel. And he kind of like just like shakes his head like, what? And it goes back to his list. Do you submit to inspection? It's the only way into the city.
I do.
Very well. And he kind of looks over the magicers and nods to them. You see that his eyes are just like tired. He's just like, just do it. Like, go ahead. Like this is all rote, you know. He's probably said this 1,000 times today. He's done. The two magicers step forward. I'm gonna need deception checks now from Sebastian and from Britt.
Act like chickens, boys.
Oh, I guess performance. Give me performance.
I rolled a 3.
A very still for chicken with a 5 total.
You guys suck at acting like
Okay,
chickens.
wait. To help them, I have the spell Mage Hand, but because I'm an arcane trickster, I can use it, and the Mage Hand is invisible, and no one can tell that I'm using it. And so what I'm gonna do is, when the Magikers are kind of like looking in the cage to try to inspect the chickens, I'm gonna like slap some of the chickens that like are real chickens and like make them like run around and start acting all crazy, like mess with them a little bit, so that they're making kind of a ruckus and it's hard to tell.
Okay.
They'll be distracted by what the fuck are these chickens doing.
Okay, I'll give them a disadvantage on their perception check for that. Okay, so the first one nat ones, and the second one does not nat one. I'll just leave it at that. So the first one's just like looking at them, and then suddenly they're like, one of them's like head jerks to the side, and they all just start like running, just like all over the place. And he's just like, what is wrong with these chickens? Like he's looking at every single one basically, except for Briff and Sebastian. The other one who's kind of like leaning in next to him, like also, I was like, wait. And he's like looking at the two of them specifically.
Sebastian is the only chicken for some reason that's not moving now. He's just like stopped in the crowd, making direct eye contact.
Big intelligent chicken eyes.
Yeah, like bulging eyes.
He's like, wait, that chicken's staring at me. And he's like staring back at you. And you see him start to mutter under his breath. He's casting a spell.
Fuck.
The other one who nat one, it's like, dude, it's just a chicken. Like, come on. It's like, dude, you're wearing yourself thin. Like, we don't have very many spells. Like, you hear him whispering. You two are close enough to hear him. It's like, dude, I'm almost out. Like, I can't keep doing this. Like, shouldn't we save it for something a little bit more suspicious than chickens?
Oh god, I'll cast a minor illusion on the cart behind us.
Uh-huh.
And I want to make it look like something magical and suspicious is happening. What is in the cart behind us?
The cart behind you, you see that it's an old man and his family. They've got furniture piled up in the back of the cart. They're worldly possessions. They look world-weary. They look tired and exhausted. You see that there's a very obvious gap next to him where his wife should be. And the kids that are kind of like piled up in the back of the wagon looking at him expectantly as he kind of drives the donkey forward.
Okay. Normally, Silmir wouldn't do this, but he doesn't have time to waste on this inspection. He doesn't want to put innocent refugees at risk. But if there's any sort of like drape or something like covering their furniture or whatever, he's going to make the fabric sort of poof out a little bit and have like a muffled like and make it sound like there's like someone hiding in there or someone tied up or something suspicious in this like collection of this family's stuff. I assume like if it's raining, to weather the elements, they would have like a tarp over their stuff to prevent it from getting wet. And so
roll me a performance check using your intelligence modifier.
All right. (16 + 2 is 18).
Yeah, so you see them talking, and then like the one who's like looking at him, like, come on, dude, like it's not worth it. Like his eyes kind of like look up, and he looks over, and you see that this tarp is kind of flapping about, and then you see him like kind of like stand up fully and like look at his partner. Go check that out. I'll finish looking at this cart and be right over. The other magicker kind of like looks at him and just shrugs and walks over to the other cart while the other one finishes inspection on yours. You see him talking to the old man, and the old man's like looking at the cart like he's like it has nothing to do with me. Like, I don't know. And you see the magicker just like getting really frustrated. Like he doesn't like he's trying to like this dude isn't like being he feels like he's not being forthcoming because there's obviously a sound coming from his cart. And he leans a fist back and punches him across the face.
Oh man, I'm
sorry,
sorry,
dude. Tell me the truth, old man. And he reaches down and grabs him by the lapels of his shirt and pulls him up. and then he's like shouting into his face. Several guards run over and start hauling children out of the cart and inspecting it. The magic crew is checking your cart, just kind of like waves you guys through. The guards pull their pikes apart, and he walks over to help inspect the cart. You're moved into the just past the main gate. You hear the clack of manacles being shackled around this man's wrists and around his children as they're kind of hauled off the cart and they're inspected.
Yeah, when the magic crews first come close to our cart and like looking in, Riff's just kind of sitting there like before, and all of a sudden they're there, and he's like does the chicken dance as a chicken for a second, and they go away, and he just stops and sits back down.
Yeah, good performance, Jack. I didn't mean do a dance. I meant perform as a chicken.
He did.
Well, as you get through the gate, the guard's kind of letting you through, wary eyes watching you as you pass by. You step into a large kind of cordoned off area. They've built like an impromptu gate across the square, and another set of guards approaches. Two of them approach you, Silmir. Like, we hope you understand, citizen. These are difficult times with refugees coming in as it is. We're going to have to take a small tax of your goods, seeing as there is food aplenty, livestock and grain. We'll be needing to take some of this. Please submit willingly. You're muted out.
How much you taking?
The forces that govern the city have the jurisdiction to allow a 30% tax of all goods brought to the city. It is to feed the soldiers and the other civilians living here.
No, 16 from the. How many chickens?
30% of the chickens you have, sir. It's the same.
He looks at them blankly, like with his fingers out, like he can't count 30% of the chickens that he has. Like he doesn't know what that means.
Don't worry, sir. We'll take care of it. Do we have your consent?
Okay. Just leave me the pretty one. And he points at least two of the ones that he knows are probably marked, or at least tries to.
Okay.
She's my favorite one. She's been with me for 10 years. Don't take Bella.
All right, Michael and Chris, I'm going to need you guys to roll me luck dice.
Oh, fuck. How long does polymorph even last? And how long were we in that line?
Oh, it too is bad.
They're gonna get confiscated the fuck away and then turn into people.
They start pulling open the cages and pulling just random chickens out. You see the one that is your familiar actually gets grabbed and pulled out.
That's okay. That's a spy.
Yeah, so they grab your familiar and pull it out. You see them reach for Dovad, but he bites one of their fingers and he's just like, and reaches for a different one instead. He got an 8 on his luck die. You see them reaching for Michael for Brith, and his hand closes around your leg, Brith.
Brith is gonna start. At first, as his hand comes close and closes around, he's gonna try to like, peck at it, like flapping furiously, fighting against it.
Okay, give me an attack as a chicken.
All right. Do chickens have any modifiers?
Maybe +1, maybe.
I'm gonna double check to see if it's in one of the books here real quick.
I doubt that anyone planned on being a chicken. So
you never know. Okay, well, it's at least not in the monster manual. So yeah, I rolled a 13. I don't know.
Just use like I don't know. Try to find like something that makes sense. Like a bat. Let's use a bat. Oh, bats can't even. Oh, they have +0 to hit. Just give it +1. You got a 14?
Yeah, 14 then.
Okay, yeah, you bite his finger for 1 piercing damage. And he grunts in pain, cursing profusely, swinging his hand, like little bits of blood flicking off of it as he swings it around. And he starts reaching for your throat now.
Yeah.
5 to 6 recharge action.
As he kind of pulls his hand back after I, bit him, Brucey kind of run in towards a group of other chickens to try and, hopefully he grabs another one or gives up.
Okay.
With a,
I'll
or
roll
he just misses and grabs another one. Yeah.
I'll roll a perception check.
Oh, no. I know. As you're doing that too, I'm gonna pop around and say, "Oh, you got to know how to handle them. They can be aggressive. I'll pick them out for you. Don't need to tire yourself or hurt yourself."
Roll persuasion. This dude's pissed.
Oh God, I suck at persuasion. I rolled a 2.
He rolled a nat 1.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so he's reaching for Briff again, and you come up and say this, and he looks at you like angrily, and then he just kind of like he considers for a second. I almost imagine like Briff like hisses at him like, and he pulls his hand back. He's like, "All right, give me 2 more."
All right, I grabbed 2 that aren't my friends.
Okay. And you hand them off to him, and he kind of just like grunts, and immediately wrings their necks, breaking their necks immediately. Just
that would have been so bad.
Polymorph end and hello, asshole.
He's like, "Thank you for your cooperation. You may go." And he kind of like walks up, takes 2 steps, and looks back at the one chicken, and at Briff, and he's just like staring at you, and he's considering you saying taking 1 more. And he kind of just sighs and walks away.
All right. So I assume Silmir has been to this city before because it's sort of a big base of operations for the Ibanai, right?
Yeah.
So would he have, like, I know his instructions were to get these guys safe out of the other city and sort of smuggle them in here. Was there a meeting point that he would know of or somewhere he was supposed to go to make initial contact?
You remember being told that they would watch for you.
Okay.
So you could kind of, that the southern sector of the city is less controlled. So you think that might be like where they put their base at, so you can kind of head there.
Yeah, if they're watching for me and I don't have an immediate place that I have to go inside the city, I guess I'd try to find like some kind of cavern, because I need a place where my friends can pop out of chicken form, like in an isolated, like in a room.
Yeah. So you can start making your way towards the south end. As you're kind of pulling away from the gates, you'd see that there'd be shouting and a large, like maybe 4 or 5 wagons loaded with huge boxes, like gigantic boxes approach. You see the boxes shifting and cracking as something inside of them moves. And they're quickly ushered through the gate. You see they're guarded by reclamation soldiers.
Add that to my to-do list. Awesome. So again, that's not something I can really afford to investigate right now with the polymorph wearing out and whatnot. I think my first order of priority is to get these guys to some place where they can bamf out safely. So if I know of some place like that, I would head there, probably in the southern side, bamf them out of their chicken forms and reunite with the group.
Okay. Yeah, as you kind of make your way away from the wall, the 2 chickens, go ahead and roll me perception checks as you are maybe looking backwards. We'll see if you are.
Just no.
What about you, Sebastian? What'd you get?
Also a negatory.
Okay.
Unless for some reason 7 is the DC.
It's not 7. As you move away from the wall, none of you see, but standing atop the wall, a man dressed head to toe in dark armor. You see at his neck a set of pins marking him as a commander. Watches your cart move away. His eyes narrowed. He would look over the wall, down at the three figures, down at Siri, the other two being dead, and he would. You see that he's very wounded. He's kind of walking with like a limp, but he would grab her ropes and shake her, smiling as Commander Jax kind of just shakes his head and walks down the wall, moving towards the guardhouse. So you move into the city, making your way towards the southern sector, and eventually you find yourselves in a less traveled area. Plenty of empty, burned-out buildings and alleyways with nobody passing through them, and you find yourselves rather alone.
Well, I don't really have any magic that can end the polymorph, but I know one way of doing it. So I go, now, friends, come along nicely, and this will be a lot easier. And I kind of reach out and, as humanely as possible, whack them against the wall so that they'll bamf out of their polymorph states.
I can just see you as the person from Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the cat, just like. Okay, you're just slamming them against the wall.
I imagine I like accidentally grab one of the ones that was like a regular chicken and just kill it at first, and I'm like, shit, toss it.
Yeah,
I go, well, I guess that's dinner.
roll me a luck die as you're doing this in like broad daylight.
Oh, I thought you said we were alone.
Like mostly alone.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll roll a luck die. 4.
Okay, that's not unlucky, but that's not lucky. I'll roll a perception check then. You're lucky the first one was not a real one, as you stated, like specifically, because as you swing it against the wall and its back breaks and its like head snaps to the side, a person kind of steps out of an alleyway and sees it as just like, and then like turns around and walks back into the alley. Like, okay, dude, that dude's messed.
Okay, fine. I find a safe location where we're alone, and I bamf them out.
Okay, you bamf them out. You guys are back in your human states.
Well, that was a close call out there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Nice pecking. Quite impressive.
I prefer to not be him. And he looks at the chicken you killed.
Yes. Well, at least we have dinner tonight. So, now that we have infiltrated you in the city, Ibanai operatives should be in contact with us shortly. In the meantime, on our order of operations here, do either of you have anything that on your agendas that you need to get done while in the city? My orders were simply to escort you out of the prison safely and smuggle you in here. I have no idea of what your plans are.
Ty, remind me, is Whitespire where the Sons of Preservations are?
So yeah, it's where the Sons of Preservation are. It's also where the Talmor Guard is making a stand against the Reclamation. It's also the seat of the Bog Queen, who kind of rules over all of Talmor. And it's like one of the stops you have to get through to make it into free country, to make it towards Viator.
Are we still on the grand mission of trying to get Fulgrim? Like, is he with us still?
Fulgrim is one of the sickly chickens.
Okay. Sebastian, who also is badly burned and scarred. He has 3 horrible scars. The first thing he's gonna do is kind of pull up his cloak and look all shady and individual, like a shady individual, and say, "Well, went smoother than I thought it was. But the original mission was to get our friend here to the Sons of Preservations."
Yeah, Briff grabs his cloak and does the same thing, kind of also pulling it closer to him. Much better and more experienced than Sebastian. Just kind of lays like, here, let me help you. Just kind of adjusts it. Some like, better.
You look like a drug dealer now.
like clearly you overdo it some, but it's like he's just kind of like better. Goes back to just cradling his hand.
Yeah, Sebastian kind of looks at you like, trust me, if not being noticed is what we're trying to do, I'm all right at that.
Well, in that case, if it befits you, I would like to add a few things to the agenda. We must get your friend Fulgrim, is that correct? To the Sons of Proclamation? Preservation, I'm sorry. If we can make time for it, I would be quite happy if we could save one of my friends, whom I noticed was attached to the wall outside. Not an easy mission, but she's someone very important to me.
Someone who helped us?
I presume she was probably taken down in the mission that allowed our entry here. There was an anti-magic sphere that is gone now.
Then we'll help.
There's also a poor farmer who has been wrongly put in chains, and his family is without help. We needed to get into the city fast. I assume that eventually they'll find nothing wrong with his shipment and set him free, but, well, I'm not 100% sure. If there's anything we can do to help him, break him out or whatnot, the justice here seems swift.
It's just another innocent caught up in our bullshit.
Indeed. He's not the highest thing on my priority list, as he's not an immediate danger, I think, but if we could do something about that. I'd also like to investigate these large boxes that were seen entering the city, as we were. Did you notice those? They were ushered in very quickly.
I was too busy trying not to get my neck snapped.
Yeah, and with that, Briff kind of rubs his legs some. Sorry if I'm out of somewhere. You know where there's a tavern? I could use a drink and a good sleep.
Briff, we slept on the way here. There are important things to take care of. Now,
yeah.
Pressing things. My friend is dying.
Our friend is dying, Riff.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm a bit out of it right now.
It's okay. We all are. It's been a long road. But
is it evening time? Like, is nightfall soon? Like, would Siri, do you think, be able to like make it till dark so that
it's a little past midday?
Oh man!
But it's foggy and it's rainy. So I mean, like, you think that she roll me medicine.
Oh yeah.
Roll me medicine with your wisdom skill.
12.
12. Okay. You don't know for sure. She looked like she was in a really bad way.
Rough.
Yeah, but knowing Siri, she's pretty stubborn. So I mean, maybe she'd be able to keep it up. You don't really know for sure though.
Let's not waste any more time. Fulgrim's not doing too well either. And I think we'd keep him in chicken form if we could until we get to the Sons of Preservation.
Yeah, let's try and
Steal
save
my
the ones.
chicken.
Let's try and save the ones we can.
Very well. And when Ebon I makes contact with us, hopefully soon, we'll have backup and support in the city. Until then, we're on our own.
Yeah, as you guys are kind of discussing, people are kind of passing you in the street, moving in opposite directions occasionally. And somebody bumps into you, Gilmere. Roll me a perception check.
Ooh, I'm good at perception. 15.
Okay. You don't notice anything. And suddenly you find your own sword at your throat.
I kind of stutter a little bit and my eyes zip around, but I freeze. I don't move.
Yeah. Briff and Sebastian, at this very same moment. Okay. What are your guys' passive perceptions?
15.
Dank. What about you, Briff?
14.
Okay. You don't notice the people coming up behind you either, as blades are pressed to your throats.
Now we can introduce yourselves first. Maybe take us out, get some food. Okay.
You get a heavy cuff to the back of the head for your light words. You hear whispered in your ear, Silmir. And you'd be respected to respond. You know thieves can't, yeah? Like, because you're a rogue? So how would you respond to this? It's a code, essentially, for the Ebon Eye. It says, the darkest eye sees all. So what's the second half?
The darkest eye sees all. Only your soul is safe from its gaze.
The blade is slowly pulled away from your throat and placed back in your sheath. A rough hand turns you around, and you see standing before you a thin, reedy man. You see that his skin is kind of like a sickly white. His eyes very pale. He has no hair, a bald head, and he is almost albino. He looks so white. As he looks at you, you see that his eyes are kind of like a very deep blue. And as he looks at you, you remember who this is, what his name is. His name is Dante, and he is one of the informers you know of in the city. And you kind of smile. Had to make sure, brother, because you know if you give the wrong second half, or there's a specific second half you can give to know that if you're being followed or if something's gone wrong. Come on, hurry and bring his cart. Follow me. And he kind of looks to the two of the people behind you and nods, and they pull their blades away from your throats.
I'd say to Silmir, your friends are really discreet.
Yeah.
I would wink at him and say, I saw them coming, but I played along.
Honestly, it was pretty well played. Good job.
So that leads you, you guys pulling the cart after them, kind of down a side alley, taking a couple of seemingly random turns until you find yourselves on an alleyway alongside a building with a big hole opening in the side. They tell you to turn the cart in, and you kind of are able to stow it beneath like one of the walls is busted out inside this building, so you can kind of put it inside of a room almost. They kind of pile up like stones and dirty clothing and other detritus and refuse over the top of it. I'm pulling the chickens out and other food and taking it downstairs. You're led through what once might have been like a warehouse or like an apartment building of some kind. You're not sure, but there are a ton of just different rooms You're led down into this basement. They give words, allowing you passage through various hidden guards until eventually you step down some stairs and into like a large, like a common room almost. You see lining the walls, sitting everywhere, dirty people in rags, refugees supposedly, but each of them bearing a calculating gaze. You know that these are members of the Ebon Eye. At the same time, some well-dressed people kind of sit alongside them, wearing like carrying various magical implements and items, exuding a faint aura of power that you can sense, Sebastian and Silmir. That these are obviously magic users, and you see embroidered on their collar a silver rose. You know that this is the Order of the Silver Rose, a very like a mercenary wizard group, essentially, a group of magickers for hire. They would lead you to like a dirty kind of like cloth hung over a doorway, and like they take the hilt of their sword and rap on the concrete wall a few times. A voice from inside, tired and broken. What is it? You see Dante lean forward. Captain Dane, we found the provokers, and I mean not the provokers, the convokers, and their Ebon Eye guide, Silmir. Send them in. The cloth will be pulled to the side, and you guys would be ushered into like a room that's been turned into sort of like a command space, like an office of some sort. A dirty map of the city strewn across like a piece of wood over some cinder blocks, essentially is what it looks like. It's serving as like a desk, like a table. You see various books kind of stacked on like impromptu shelving. It's a very ghetto command tent, essentially. And you're kind of let in. You see a one-armed man, his head like shaven down to stubble, looking at you, and you would immediately know who this is. Dane Ashworth, second in command of the Silver Rose. You kind of like look at the three of you, at your group, and kind of like nod to Dante, who steps in with you and closes the curtain. He would just kind of study you all for a minute.
When we finally enter this makeshift command room, Riff loosens his cloak some, lowers his hood, then just kind of makes himself a little bit more comfortable and at ease. Still kind of steps off to the side, letting everyone else in.
Well, I trust you got in without any issues. And he looks over at you, Silmir.
Yes, we thank your alchemists for the potions. They worked. Things went smoothly for us.
Good.
Same can't be said about that innocent family, though.
Innocent family. And he kind of like frowns, like doesn't know what you mean by that.
I was forced to divert attention onto unfortunate bypasses. I am hoping to help them, for we have drawn them into our scheming. But there are more urgent matters. On the approach, I noticed that one of your operatives, Siri, still lives. She's strung on the walls of the city at this very moment. Her life fading.
My chicken is sick also, and I care very dearly about him.
He like look at you. Ah, yes, the other, the dwarf, right? The one that's sick. We'll see what we can do to contact the Sons of Preservation. Perhaps they'll be able to do something about that. As
Tell
for
Sir
Siri,
Vernick,
huh?
tell Sir Vernick that he owes me a favor.
Sir Vernick. Who the heck's Sir Vernick?
My homie.
Who is that? Anyways.
I literally have a character. You made me create it a long time ago.
Oh, did I really?
Yeah.
Send me the info. Send me the info. I totally forgot about this.
No worries.
He would kind of like, he would look at you, and he'd look back at you, Silmir. We are aware that Siri still lives. As well as Brandok. Good point. There's one of the other operatives we sent to prep the city for your arrival. The way I hear it, the commander is questioning him personally. I don't know if you saw him on the wall, but Commander Jax managed to kill or defeat the 4 of them, some of my best operatives. I don't know what we can do for Siri. I really don't. Our time is limited, though.
We have an obligation to help her.
We have an obligation to win this war.
Is this how we treat our own? She's a hero. How many of your operatives were discovered and killed by that magical spear? She took it down. And now we leave her to die? Are we no better than those that we fight? I request your full support in going after her. A diversion.
He would lean forward
plan.
and grab you by the lapels. Watch your tone.
Listen, Silmir. One thing I've learned is that heroes are only heroic when it's beneficial for them.
Siri wasn't like that.
I'm not speaking of Siri. I look to Captain Dane.
And he'd look back at you and give you a long, hard stare. It is not a matter of convenience, Convoker. What it is a matter of I'm not willing to sacrifice more lives. She knew what she was getting into and she accepted the mission. I
Well,
can't do anything about that.
I think we know what we're getting into, too. We're not asking for any more of your men. She risked herself to save us and get us in here. And I would like to repay the favor.
It's not over till you're underground.
And he kind of looks around and you know you're in an underground building.
Griff kind of steps up now as, things are continuing to get heated here. If I may pipe up here, we should save her. We should save everyone here. We have to keep the end game in mind. Doesn't do anyone any good if we get ourselves killed trying to save her.
He's right. You two, you're Convokers. You're too important. You have a mission that may affect the outcome of the entire war. Me, I've done my part. I was to get you out of the city safely and bring you here. I waited 4 years in a refugee camp to be called upon. I was only done so because I was the only operative on site that could respond fast enough. My own guild doesn't even trust me to get things done.
Listen, guys. And finally, I pull back my cloak and reveal my horribly scarred face. I literally look like Two-Face, where one side is completely just burned to like scaly black embers. And I say, we're no more important than anybody else. Convokers, that's just a word, a title. You want to know what our mission is? It's to get this stupid piece of paper somewhere else. What makes us more qualified to do that than anybody else? What makes us more important, our lives more important than an innocent family? Convoker is just a word. It means nothing. What we stand for means nothing right now. We're caught up in this just like everybody else is. If you're worried about the mission, I put the piece of paper on the table, then you're probably better suited to do it anyways.
Captain Dane sighs and reaches up his one hand and kind of grabs his temple, like rubbing his head. I was told you were foolhardy, but this is ridiculous.
I
Like a
get that a lot.
babysitting children. Very well. Very well. What is your objective in being here, besides getting this pay-per-view tour? Why did you insist on coming this way? This is the heart of reclamation activity.
To get our friend to proper medical care. He's come down with a terrible illness. And we were discovered, chased, and cornered. It was choose one terrible situation or another.
I'll see what I can do to arrange a meeting with the Sons of Preservation. I will see if there is some way that they would be even willing to meet with us. They've taken a neutral stance in this war. They refuse to help either side exclusively. Taking your friend there might mean an exposure.
Just like those pricks.
Regardless, we can't do anything about Syria without manpower. You saw how many soldiers were on the walls. They patrol that gate night and day. They put her there for a reason. Every night they force the refugees out, 150 yards away from the city. You won't be able to approach without being seen. You'll need a force of people. Luckily for you, I know somebody with the manpower to help. The Bog Queen remains up in her palace with the entirety of the Talmor Guard. If she would just intervene on behalf of her people, we could turn the city. There's already been a riot. It was put down, sadly. But if they saw her and the Talmor Guard intervening, I have no doubt that they would step up again. More riots. More people fighting for what they believe in. But you have to get to the top of the spire to speak with her, and that is no easy feat.
Very well. We meet with the Bog Queen, convince her to stand up for her people, bring her guard down, while they're busy making a ruckus and fighting off the guards. Those guards will be summoned from the wall. Less of them will remain on guard duty. We go in, we save Sylmia. Save Sylmia, save the city.
Sounds easy enough. Let's see how we screw it up.
He grins at you.
Hey, most of our plans start that way. Why not this one?
Well, we're at it if we can take out Jax. That wouldn't be bad.
I have one more. I have somebody, or rather, I know someone who will be able to help you. It's our leader, Errol. He, with the magic barrier down, is able to command more of a presence in the city. I'll send him a missive. You are to meet him at the second tier and he kind of looks up, kind of like glancing towards somebody who kind of like gives him a sign telling him what time it is outside. Meet him there in an hour and a half. He'll help you get to the spire top. He'll help you convince the queen. He commands the Silver Roses now.
Very well. We appreciate your help. I'm sorry for my words earlier. I got carried away. If you had I do have one more request have any incense, charcoal, magical components, and a brass brazier. I require a few of these
behind
things.
you, and you kind of nod outside. Oh, I don't have those things, but maybe someone out there does. Ask around. I'm sure somebody will have some extra supplies to give you. Regardless, and he kind of looks over at Dante. Go find him. Tell him to meet them at the second tier in an hour and a half. And Dante nods and steps out. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. If not, you're dismissed. Don't get yourself killed, please. And make the sacrifice of those four worthless.
Kind of like give a half-hearted smile and say, well, if we do die, you guys know the mission now.
And he looked down at the envelope and just shake his head. Get out of here, go. They kind of sit down wearily in his chair and start like he's staring just intently at the map, just trying to figure. See, he's seeing something that you guys aren't, trying to figure out something. And as you step outside, back into this main common room, you'd be able to secure those things pretty easily, Silmir. And that is where we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Go ahead and go to the bathroom, get a drink, do what you need to. Be back here in 7 minutes.
Well, I'm back. Is there anyone on YouTube? I wonder. Muting that. We're already going an hour? Wow. Didn't even realize. And no one's here. Okay, well, at least I am. Focusing on YouTube, though. And what is my lingering injury? Whenever you attempt an action in combat, must make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw on a failsafe. You lose your action. Can't use your actions until the start of your next turn. Magical healing, or if you spend 10 days doing nothing but resting. Okay. Really need to remember that. Oops. That's not complete.
Man, I only have 3 spell slots for the entire game. Is it worth it to spend one on getting a more useful familiar than a chicken?
Ooh, that is a good question. A very good question. What are your other uses?
Well, it'd be nice since there's this big spire to have something that can fly. Maybe something that could see in the dark. Maybe something, I don't know, less conspicuous than a chicken following me around.
Well, you could always just put it in its pocket dimension.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, something that could at least fly would be nice.
I'm thinking like an owl.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the only one that has flying and dark vision.
And dark vision, yeah.
It really kind of makes it a little OP if you think about it. Like,
and I was looking at it as this cool flyby thing too, where it can like get out of people's range without provoking attacks of opportunity, which is kind of sick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could be really useful, but I have some other good spells.
What are some of your other spells?
Sleep came in really useful last game.
Yeah.
I've got Disguise Self, which is always nice.
Yeah, especially with what we're doing.
I've got Charm Person if there's some stupid ass guards that are on our case. I could try to charm someone.
I got spells, homie.
I think I'm gonna do it. The chicken thing isn't doing it for me.
We unfortunately have a lot of the same spells too. I have Disguise Self and Charm Person.
Dude, we could both be disguised and both charm someone.
Heck yeah. I only have 4 spells.
I only have 3 spells.
Well, I don't have any, so I beat both of you.
I guess you're just a trickster rogue guy.
Just a little arcane trickster.
Oh, a little trickster, you.
I do have 4 cantrips because I'm a high elf. Get extra cantrip.
Dang, son. I have Eldritch Blast, all right.
I have a magic sword.
Nice. We should ask these guys for some magic items and shit. Hey, you guys got any potions, any scrolls or wands, or like I don't know,
hats in the skies so that I don't have
any of you able to cast like healing word on me so I can have my finger back and not broken ribs?
I could give you a healing draught.
I think we tried that before, and he said it counts as alchemy and not magic.
Right. Then you effed. I got no heals.
Yeah. We tried that.
I could sneak attack you.
I don't think that's going to give me the desired result. But
that's all I got. That's my thing, man.
They're like healing word. It's a freaking bonus action. First level spell. Anyone.
Yeah, we're in like an entire guild of mages.
Probably none of them know it. They all decide like, oh, didn't he have it? No, you thought I had it? No, I don't have a healing covered.
Dude, I can meditate for 4 hours and have it count as 8 hours of rest.
Nice.
I love that ability of elves. It's super cool. Everybody else is always sleeping at night and you can do shit.
Mm-hmm. Makes you really useful for those watches.
Yeah, because when you're meditating, you can still have your perception. You don't like sleep.
Right.
You're aware of your surroundings.
I consider aware of your surroundings and on watch a bit different though.
All right, so we should probably let Sebastian do the talking, right? With the Bog Queen.
Durr?
I'm not very convincing.
Yeah, I'm a criminal. So.
You guys think I'm convincing?
I think you're pretty convincing.
You guys think Sebastian's convincing?
Y'all ready to die?
Heck yeah.
I'm ready.
Hopefully.
Oy vey. All right. Let's go ahead and do channel plugs and character intros. We'll start with Alex and end with Michael.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Alex. I am playing Silmir, who is an elven arcane trickster. And his deal is that he's part of the Ebon Eye, which is this association of rogues. They're super underground and sneaky. They're really cool. But he isn't really the greatest member of the Ebon Eye. Maybe he got like on someone's shit list at some point, or screwed up a big mission in his past, and that earned him the fate of posing as a refugee for like 4 years, and no one called upon him. And he was stuck as a refugee in this shit town where nothing was happening. And all of a sudden, recently, 4 years isn't that long for like an elf life, but still. All of a sudden, recently, these Convokers were trapped in a prison in the city, and he was the only operative that was around and that was there to respond fast enough. And so it was his job to break them out. And he went out to save them. In the end, they pretty much ended up saving his ass. So, but it worked, and they got away. And now he is in cahoots with these guys. He's quickly forging friendships with them. And yeah, he's in love with Siri, who is a tiefling who's currently strung up outside the city. So that's tough for him to deal with right now. He really wants to save her. And I really enjoy playing this character and playing with these guys. It's been a blast.
What is up? I'm Chris, also known on the YouTubes and the Twitter as the RP Ginger, also known as Sebastian Wilker, the once coward, now a bit of an edgelord. He is an artificer mixed in with a bit of a warlock who has made a pact with a bleak dragon. And he is a bit of a anti kind of hero, I guess. He doesn't necessarily believe in the whole hoopla of the heroes and the convocation. Believes that hero is a word that people make up to feel good about themselves, and that in actual war there's no such thing as a hero. It's people that live and there's people that die. And he's not sure what end he wants to be on yet, because the more he lives, the more people seem to die. And that's about it, I think. Go ahead.
I'm Michael. I'm playing Briff Shig, the very silent, contemplating everything fighter. And honestly, full disclosure, it's been so long since we've played him, having to rediscover him on the fly here. So, yeah, figure out again, who is he with all the shit that's been going on? How's he handling all this? Is he gonna pop off with more jokes, or is he gonna turn into another edgelord? Fight Sebastian for that title.
There can be only one. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for showing up to play tonight. As always, I am Tyler from the channel On a Roll. It's ROE, like roleplay. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this, obviously you're watching it on my channel. Unless one of these edgelords saved the game to theirs, shared it on theirs, whatever. Yes, the edgelords of Aranoth. It is a title that's much vied for. But we are going to go ahead and get right into this again. Rolling on out as you guys make your way out onto the street after receiving the supplies that you needed, and giving it a time and a destination.
Was the supply area pretty ghetto? Like, I'm assuming this base that we just came from isn't the most fancy of organizations, is it?
Well, considering that their desk is a bunch of cinder blocks with a piece of wood across it, probably not.
Yeah, could all just be for the aesthetics.
Be edgy? To be edgy? No. There are resistance, so getting supplies is very difficult.
All right. Well, I would look to everybody else, pulling up my hood and cloak again, and say that I stick out like a sore thumb, so I should probably lay low. But if we get into trouble, I can disguise myself.
Selmir sort of nods. If we have an hour and a half here, he'll lay out the components that he was able to get and start muttering to himself. And you see him just sort of sitting cross-legged across from this chicken and staring straight at him. And he goes, so rat again? Yes, I know that last time you turned into a rat, you were squashed. Yes, I know that if I turned you into a kitten, they probably would have given you hugs instead. Yes, everybody loves kittens. Okay, fine. What do you want to be this time, then? Something that flies, all right? Sees in the dark? Fine, I'll make you an owl. And you see this chicken sort of morph itself into another feathery creature, a sort of small owl. Trail us from afar, all right? Stay hidden, rooftops, fly discreetly if you can. If there's trouble, you'll know. And then he looked to everybody else. All right, well, we need to make our way to the second tier.
We gonna have any issues doing that?
First time in town. On that note, though, while we're heading along, gonna see if I can maybe do something along the way. But first, missions first.
We probably have like an hour to get there at this point. Is there anything we want to do in the meantime? I'm not saying like necessarily go for Siri right now, but we might have time to try. We could try to figure out the peasant situation. We could try to see what Commander Jax is up to. If we want to go that route, we could investigate those big boxes that were coming in. We could try to find the Sons of Preservation.
I was wanting to, while we're kind of heading that way, feel out to see if there's a presence of the group that Briff used to work for, the Crimson Angels, here in town. So just kind of drop some feelers out, see if he picks anything up. If, oh yeah, I know some of them or something like that.
So if I understand correctly, so you want to try and contact some of the the Crimson Angels?
More just I want to know if they're around here, not contact them, but just.
Well, first off,
present.
you know from Tag that they're not called the Crimson Angels anymore.
Right.
They're called the Heralds.
So, yeah, the Heralds then.
Okay.
Using my criminal contacts feature.
So how do you want to try and contact them then? What are you doing? Are you looking for people you know? Are you sending out codes? What's the deal?
More, I'm just kind of since I used to be one of them, I kind of look for people who look like might pick up jobs for them or put up feelers and just kind of do the other end of it. It's like, hey, I'm looking for someone who might be able to do some heavy lifting for me. Know of any groups around here that might be able to take some coin for that kind of work, stuff along those lines. See if I can feel the name out.
Okay, roll me a luck die.
Six.
Okay, well, with the 6, you are lucky to find out that essentially you don't want to get in contact with the Heralds. They are indirectly working with the Reclamation. So you find out that they've essentially sworn fealty to the Reclamation and are working directly with them.
Okay, but they are still here at least.
Well, at least a couple, sure. I mean, because
Okay.
the Crimson Angels have their own contingents and battalions and whatever.
Yeah.
So, there's a force accompanying this force occupying the city.
All right. So, yeah, I was just kind of curious. Like, would there be anyone here who might know of Briff or just, get a feel for if they were around? So, anything else that someone wants to do?
Just want to get it over with. I believe Silmir is good to go also.
Or is there anything you're going to try and do before the meeting, though, with Errol?
I'm content with just meeting up with Errol.
Just passing the time until he gets there, essentially?
Summoning my familiar takes me an hour. So we have an hour and a half. So I think if I do that, that would take up most of the time, and then just like walking there.
I was gonna say we could go look to buy stuff, but then I realized that we literally have like no money.
Yeah, you guys are poor. Okay, cool. So you guys make your way to the second tier. The second tier is like the textiles, manufacturing, like all sorts of like this is like the work the workplace essentially of the city. Like this is where you get all like your silks and like where all the metalworking would go. All the smithies are here. And so you kind of make your way up to the second tier. The second tier wrapping around the outside of the spire. And you just see people going back and forth, workers making their way to and fro. Go ahead and roll me like a either investigation, perception, or arcana.
I rolled really badly.
Wowza, 24. Okay. So, the reason why I had you roll, by the way, Alex, is because I figure you're actively searching for Errol. So a 24, which were you using? Arcana, investigation, or perception?
That was perception.
Okay. One thing that you would notice that would kind of stand out to you, that draws your attention, in a way that you feel like nobody else would really notice, you would spot what looks like a resting in the window of one of the smithies is a silver rose.
Were we given any sort of instructions on how to, like, code words or anything to once we arrive here?
Probably not. You would simply be told that you would know. You would either know him or you'd know where he was.
Okay. Then kind of as we pass there, as you know, the other two are just don't seem to know, so it's kind of poking aside. Jester up there is like, I'm gonna go and see if there's someone in here who could sharpen my blades. You two want to come along?
Well, I don't have any money, but sure.
I nod. Follow you in.
All right, so yeah, I'll lead everyone in. It's kind of as I do, try and subtly point out that silver rose to them.
Yeah, as you pass, kind of stepping into the shop, you'd be greeted by a large dwarf. He's kind of standing behind a a very very lowered kind of bar, like a not like a bar, but like a front desk almost. That's like up to your guys' like thighs, but like up to his chest essentially. So he's kind of like standing behind it, his arms kind of folded across it, and he look up at you as you step in. Silmir, you'd recognize him. How would you know this dwarf? His name is Braddock Goodpint.
I would know Braddock. We were young recruits together. And we were put on a mission, sort of a routine mission, and neither of us were very experienced yet, and we completely fucked it up. And that is why I sort of got sent off to pose as a refugee for a long time, and he got stuck doing like sort of grunt work, like being the storefront for some guy instead of like going on cool missions. So we're buddy fuck ups.
So he'd look at you, and you'd look at him, and his eyes would kind of narrow. Here to screw up my life again, Silmir.
Silmir would roll his eyes. It was your blundering butt that got us caught when we were down there in that sewage system.
The way I recall it, you're the one who said it was a good idea to jump.
Yes, jump discreetly and with grace, not plunge in like a giant cannonball, alerting the entire area around us that we were there.
If I recall, you're the one that screamed on the way down.
As
and we kind of look at each other with narrow eyes, and then I kind of burst out laughing and say, "Oh, it's good to see you again, Brandock." We got ourselves into quite some trouble in the day, didn't we? And I kind of reach out and pat him on the shoulder.
His name is Braddock. Brandock. Brandock is the character you played in the last game.
Yeah, Braddock.
Yeah, as it looks like these guys are about to like really get at it, Briff is about to like step in and stop, but he start laughing, backs up. It's kind of let you take the lead.
Well, it seems I've, through certain circumstances, gotten myself back into the thick of things again. Do you know where we can find Errol?
Yes, I know where you can find Errol. I hate being the front man. I swore to myself when I left Stone Rift I would never smith again, and here I am, the stereotypical dwarf. Kill me now, please, Silver. Kill me. And he'd kind of like nod to the door, shut that, put the sign across it, follow me.
I do as told.
Yeah, and he'd walk back into the smithy. You'd follow him past like workbenches and anvils and smoldering bits of metal. You'd follow him past racks of swords, mauls, spears, shields, and armor, until he would reach kind of like the back wall. You'd see that on the wall are all just kind of like manner of just fine weaponry, probably the finest stuff he's made so far. And he would reach up, and you'd see what looks like an adamantine breastplate. You kind of like fondly, like kind of put a hand on it, rubbing it. You know it's incredibly expensive, probably near impossible for anybody in this little city to buy, though it's the biggest city in Talmor. And he'd kind of like pat it on the front, kind of like one of my finest pieces of work. And he'd pull it off the wall, and behind it, it's just like dusty. You see that it's probably never been removed or hasn't been removed in a long time. There's kind of like a lever behind it. Nobody can afford it, so I never have to move it. And he'd reach up and pull it down before moving it back up and putting the breastplate across it. The entire wall would kind of just rotate, swinging inwards, revealing a stairway leading down.
You might want to don that soon, Braddock. If all goes well with our mission, there will be war in the city.
I have been waiting quite some time to swing a maul. The war sounds lovely right about now. Go, he's waiting for you.
We go in, and I kind of roll my eyes and just go, dwarves.
Yeah, you hear the screeching sound of stone on stone as the door shuts behind you. And as you make your way down the stairs, you know that it's bleeding towards the center of the spire. And eventually, kind of after passing through many long corridors down, it would open into a large circular room. You see that the room is been recently cleaned. You see that there are strewn about all manner of just like crates of supplies, weapons, and items. And sitting among them, kind of quietly in the corner, legs folded, meditating, you see that there are these lights kind of dancing around his head, is a young man. His hair is kind of like a golden brown, longer, kind of tied into like a knot at the back of his head. He's wearing these kind of like blue, flowing clothing, very loose, and kind of tied around his waist. You see a short sword and various other items and implements. A book kind of hangs from a chain off of his waist. And as you step in, the lights would kind of dance around you guys as you step into the room. Sebastian, as you lay eyes upon this person, the amulet around your neck would growl hungrily.
I would look down at it curiously, I guess. It's never done that before. I would just kind of whisper to myself, "What do you want?"
That That is a man with power. You would do well to try and emulate his existence, weak one.
You would have done well to pick a better candidate. I just stuck it back in my shirt.
Yeah. You just hear back, I took the hand I was dealt.
I'd whisper back, so did I.
The lights would stop dancing overhead and begin to slowly rotate, spinning in like a beautiful spiral back to him before puffing out of existence in sprays of magical confetti, almost just like this shower of like magical glowing sparks. He would slowly stand to his feet, kind of brushing off his legs. So you're the three of them taking up to the spire, huh? To the palace.
That's us.
Yes, we are to meet with the Bog Queen.
What they said.
They never make it easy, do they? You're quite the motley crew, assorted individuals. They kind of was eyeing each of you. I thought there'd be more. I heard that Dovod would be with you guys. Is he not coming?
This brief kind of steps up. There were more of us on the way here, got in some fights. Everyone else is resting. Trying to heal up what they can.
Pity. Dovod's a good fighter. If he vouches for you, I'm sure you'll do fine. But you're all a bit scrawny. Kind of like eyeing each of you.
Yeah, I don't know
He's
if he'd
pretty
vouch for
scrawny
us.
too, by the way.
Are you Errol?
Yeah, that's me.
My amulet says you're strong.
I don't even know what to say to that. What does that even mean?
I don't know. I take it out. Some asshole entity kind of has a hold on me.
He immediately takes several steps back from you. Where did you find that?
To be honest, and I kind of start to scratch my head. I don't really remember. Some ruins.
And how long have you been wearing it?
Feels like an eternity, but probably only a couple weeks. Someone gave me powers in this, and apparently it came at a grave cost, and I'd show my face.
You hear him whisper just like under his breath. Oh my God. And he kind of stepped forward, like looking at you. Have you tried taking it off?
Yeah, we even tried destroying it, and I almost died. Kind of wish that we just did destroy it. He says that he's interested in you, though. Maybe, do you want this?
No, I don't want that curse.
Perfect.
And he'd look you in the eyes. What ungodly foolishness compelled you to put this item on, let alone make a contract with it?
My friends are in trouble. I didn't have the power to save them.
I've only ever seen one other amulet like this before. And the man who wore it, he was not pleasant. Twisted individual. I pity you.
Thanks. Sure, that'll get me really far.
Did whatever entity tell you its name? Do you know who it is you're contracted to?
Yeah. But I'm really bad at pronouncing it, and he always gets pissed off. Alizvesh.
And his face would go blank, like white.
So the name that worries
that's not a funny joke.
you. Do I look like a funny man?
No, you look like a scarred, twisted one.
That's his name. That's what he says his name is. Seen visions of him, but I can't really make out what it is. Some horrible, dark entity lurking somewhere near yet far away.
That's the way the bleak feels. Near yet far away. Alizvesh. Alizvesh was the dragon that killed Eris, the first Convoker. They killed each other, supposedly. This, and he looks at the amulet in your hand, around your neck. That does not bode well.
Tell me about it. The guy's a dick. Keeps on saying that I'm weak and tormenting me.
He's more than that. He's a tyrant. He's a destroyer. He led the charge. When the dragons destroyed Kazran, he was the first out of the bleak.
I'll count this as a total of 5 tick marks to the worst screwed list. So.
I mean, if Eris defeated him, then chances are he's locked away, right? At the very least.
The bleak's a fickle thing. We don't understand how it works. The fact that you're somehow connected to him across the bridge, bridging the gap between our world and the bleak, by wearing this amulet, tell me, is he getting stronger? Does he have more control over you than when you first wore it, when you first put it on?
Well, to be honest, I could always kind of see into the bleak and manipulate it a bit, but and then I would actually say, like, that's how I made this, and I'd show him my shitty ass bag of holding that I made myself. And but once I made the deal with him, I was able to do a lot of other things. And I would maybe like kind of do like a minor Eldritch Blast, which the way I manifest it is by like pulling out bleak energy and just, I wouldn't actually shoot it, but I kind of manifest it into my hand, and it would just be like raw bleak energy.
Interesting. I will do more research. You kind of look at your hand, the crackling energy in it.
If you could get rid of him, that'd be great, because although he did give me the potential power to save my friends, all he does now is berate me and tell me I'm not worthy of his all great presence.
You'd hear in your mind, "Oh, but you deserve it."
Yeah, you shut up.
And Errol's like, I didn't say anything.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, no, Alizvesh. Well,
I do agree, gentlemen, that future research is warranted on this matter. I have a friend that is currently expiring on the walls of the city.
Yes, sorry.
I would like to move on with things quickly, if possible. We have an initiation to attend.
And he turned to look at you, Silmir. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Griff.
No, it's just kind of pops up. Yeah, let's see if we remove some of those tick marks I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and he turned to look at you, Silmir, and say, "You don't seem to understand that if this amulet runs out of control, there won't be anyone to save. Alizvesh is a pestilence, plague on everything, and anything you hold dear would be destroyed by him. So I would say this is of the utmost importance, but you're right. It can wait for now, at least. He doesn't seem to be rupturing yet." He'd look you up and down.
No ruptures here.
Eventually, if you keep using his power, it'll build up within you to the point where you can't hold it anymore. It'll rip you to pieces. and then what's left of you will be taken over by him. I'd recommend using that energy, that strength, as little as possible, my friend. And you turn and look back at you. Very well, let's go then. And you turn to a different set of stairs opposite the ones you guys came through.
I follow him.
You start hiking up them. You feel like you're hiking up these stairs for like ever. Like it is hell. Like it is terrible. It's like you think that I mean it feels like you are essentially climbing like 10 city walls. So I'm gonna need everybody to make me a constitution saving throw.
So what happened to me?
What do
I
you mean?
scored an 18.
That one.
Oh, good.
So what happened to me?
You fall down the stairs like one of those cartoons, and you just keep rolling. No. So anyone who fails gets a point of exhaustion. So that's going to be Chris and Michael. A point of exhaustion for both of you after climbing just stair after stair after stair. Additionally, for the nat one, take 4 points of damage as just you're like heaving. You like twist an ankle on one of the steps just because you're so tired you can't even lift your leg up completely, and you fall forward, slamming your knee into a step. Errol's just like huffing, just like almost there.
Yeah, he just kind of falls and. Are we going all the way up, or just a little bit further than that?
Almost there. Just a little bit further. So you continue up, eventually reaching another doorway, which Errol opens. And it leads into like an old, kind of like burned out mercantile, like a bazaar type thing. You see that all the stalls are kind of empty. There are tipped over boxes and crates all over the place, as well as kind of ripped down tents and tarps just all over the place. Like there was a panic here. A bunch of people ran, trampling everything.
Sorry, I didn't
You
quite
kind of
catch
make it up.
a bunch of people ran trampling everything. Sorry.
Like it looks like a long time ago. Like it's in disrepair.
Oh,
It used
okay.
to be like a marketplace of some sort.
Bruce kind of makes it up here and leans on his knees. That was a good workout. I think I got my cardio in for the day. You guys good?
I think I got my cardio in for the year, but where are we? What is this?
We are on the 4th tier. We skipped the 3rd one. A necessity if we didn't want to deal with a bunch of reclamation soldiers. So here we are. We skipped the checkpoint. We can continue on up to the palace.
Nicely done. And he kind of walks over and like looks over towards the edge of the. Can we see sort of the edge of the tier of the spire?
If you were to walk over to the edge of the road, because like so it's like a marketplace up against the wall of the spire, and then it reaches like a normal road that kind of goes along the outside. So if you were to walk up to that road and look over the edge, you would see beneath you the 3rd tier, a bunch of soldiers kind of walking around.
I wouldn't like expose myself or anything, but I kind of like look around over there and be like, wow, wouldn't it be really stupid to like try to jump off this thing and climb down?
Yeah, that's just ludicrous.
Yeah, who would ever try such a thing? And then keep walking.
If I recall, actually, your friend Siri and one of the other of the four tried that exact thing. Didn't quite go as planned. Tried to spider climb down a wall with broken legs, but getting the M&I for being intelligent, I guess.
At least they were casters. They probably had Featherfall prepared like any smart caster would have done.
Of course, in a situation like this.
Oh yes, of course. So he would kind of lead you guys up to the middle, like the center of the road, and start making his way up the fourth tier towards the top of the spire. You see, as you're moving, I'm going to need a perception check from all three of you.
Well, I haven't rolled higher than 10 yet tonight, so let's do it.
Counting on you rolling low.
A 19 plus modifiers, real high.
These perception checks.
19.
Nat
20. Okay, cool. That's good. Okay.
My eyes are open.
You can see clearly now the rain has gone. Okay. You got a 24. Wait, you got a 24? Goodness. So 24, nat 20, and a 19. Yeah, you guys all see this. Errol, too. Lying dead in the center of the street are, well, actually, you get the smell. There's a very putrid smell coming from a house nearby.
You guys smell that?
It doesn't really smell like something I would like to investigate, but we probably should. And he would move over towards the source of the smell.
So you see that this house, it might have once been like a merchant's house. Like, it's pretty nice. Maybe not as big as like a mansion, but people like a 3 or 4 story. Probably let's go with like a 3 story, like a basement, main floor, and a top floor home. Like it's got like a nice salon and everything, but the doors are off its hinges, kind of like falling into the main entryway. You follow the smell moving backwards through the house until you get to like a small supply closet. As you open the door, you would see 5 bodies piled in on top of each other, Talmor guards.
I'm just gonna turn to our guide here. What in the 9 hells happened up here?
His eyes are kind of narrow. The Talmor guard patrol the 4th and 5th tier. I don't know.
Do you think the Boat Queen knows of this?
You got me. I don't.
It seems like someone tried to hide them here, and I would pat them down and look like I'm looking for some kind of insignia, or worst case, I would take like some of their insignias on their coats, like.
Roll me medicine. A medicine check as you're searching them, or investigation.
Investigation. That's a 18.
So as you're kind of like patting them down, you would find embedded in the necks of each of them nothing more than a small dart. And as you kind of pull it free, oozing from the wound, this like thick black liquid would follow. And what poisonous herb is used by assassins to do this?
This would be black lilac dew. So it's a black lilac flower, and the poison accumulates in very, very small quantities on the petals, and it looks kind of like as if morning dew were accumulating on it, except for it happens usually dew comes out in the morning. This phenomenon sort of secretes in the evening instead of the morning. And it's very difficult to harvest. There's like an alchemical process where you need to like get the right conditions of temperature and whatnot for it to come out, and then to harvest it, if you touch it at all, it secretes back into the plant. So you have to basically get it to evaporate, and it's very complex to harvest it, but it's extremely potent.
And Chris,
Black lilac dew.
And Chris, what effect does this have on the body when it enters the bloodstream?
Oh shit! It completely kills anyone, no matter what. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, really, really insightful, Chris. Really insightful.
It I would say it causes a blindness. Like it actually gets into the bloodstream or whatever, and then somehow like blackouts the eyes for a period of time.
Okay. And finally, Michael, what underground like network is known for using this specifically? Or is there like an assassin group that are for hire? Like who uses this this do? Whose signature mark is this? Assuming you're there. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm here, just thinking.
Okay.
There's a group of people who, you know, mostly work as a cover and, you know, making various different potions and concoctions for healing things of mostly drow, who ironically, given their, you know, fact that they're drow from the Underdark or equivalent, and the fact that they're using black lilac dew, these assassins are known as the thing that's lost it, as the Dark Rose.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So this group, they call themselves the Dark Rose. They have this famous saying called one little prick, one little touch, and that's the mantra they live by. Very, very skilled, very famous assassins. And as you're staring at these bodies, you're kind of sharing this information. You hear from behind you. So 2 attacks. Oh boy. So 1 on Silmir and 1 on Briff. You feel so Silmir, the shot at you, just you barely are able to move. Like you hear the first one that goes towards Briff, and the second one and you're able to move your head as one shoots past the side of your neck, barely missing you and embedding itself in the wall. But Briff, they're gonna nat 20 you with one of the shots, so you're gonna take damage, and I'm gonna need you to make me a con save.
Does that count as an ability check for my exhaustion?
No, saves are different than that.
Okay. Good. And that is going to be 21.
Okay, so instead of being blinded for 1d8 rounds, you're going to be blinded for 1d4 rounds, which is going to end up being 2. You feel the prick in the back of the neck. It's like a bee sting. And you reach back and you pull this like little, it's like a little, like a bamboo dart, like this little tiny pointed wooden dart. And you see there's a little bit of something dripping out of the top of it. You kind of look at it. And then your eyes just, and it's darkness. You can't see anything. It feels like you got an instant cataract, like basically. Like everything's just this hazy blackness. And now we're going to roll for initiative. Ouchie mama.
My God, I'm rolling bad tonight. 4.
Because I feel like every time I play with you, you
this
say that.
die. Oh, I need to roll this thing more often. 21.
And I'm gonna roll for Errol. Wow, Errol did pretty good too.
He could just
Okay,
like
hold on,
wave
let me-
his hand and kill all these people, right?
He's strong, but he's not a god. Okay, so we've got at the top of the order with a 21, Brith, followed by the Darkthorn, followed by Elite Errol, followed by so we got a 9 for Silmir. 9 Silmir. And 4 coming to the very end, Sebastian. Bringing up the rear, baby. Last but not least. All right, there's the order. Briff, you are blinded.
Yeah, Briff is going to turn towards who or whatever did that. Just crap, and pull out his hand axes, which will give him that extra 1 point of armor class because he's using 2 weapons.
Okay. All right, cool. Darkthorn is going to go next. You see behind you the supply closet, kind of off to the side of this main central area. These 2 kind of staircases going up along the side of it to the second floor. There are these pillars kind of supporting the 4 corners, or I guess the 4 edges of the room. And from around one of these pillars, a figure dressed head to toe in kind of like black overlapping clothing kind of slips out and dashes towards you. You see in both hands are these 2 thin, long daggers, and he is going to make. Oh no, they're short swords actually. Is going to make 2 attacks at advantage on Brith. Since you are blinded, my friend. That's gonna be a 22 to hit, and that's gonna be a 26 to hit. Yeah, those both hit. I need you to make me another Constitution saving throw. 2 of them actually, because you got hit twice.
So that's 18 and 8.
18 and an 8.
Yeah, 18 and 8.
So on the 18, you're gonna pass. So you're only take 6 points from the first. Oh wait, but it's sneak attack too. You're gonna take 29. I mean, not 29. 19 points from the first attack. As his short sword cleaves, like cuts you through the center, across your midriff, and the second attack buries deep into your thigh. And from that one, since you failed the con save, you're gonna take 30 points. That's 49.
Yeah, I'm on the ground.
Ouch. Okay, the first one that comes at you just drops you immediately. A cut across the stomach and a jab into the thigh, you just go down. He kind of takes several steps backwards as he had to use the dash action to get to you. And that'll be it for him. Yeah, good thing we have a cleric. Next one. Yeah, the next one up is Errol. Errol's gonna look at this assassin who just took you down. And he is going to use a very powerful spell because he does not want him getting anywhere near him. So let me hurry and pull up a spell list. And that is going to be a 5th level spell. Wizard, 5th level. And okay, he's going to force him to make a... Which one is he going to do? He'll force him to make a dexterity saving throw. Wow, he actually fails. He got a 2. Okay, so he's going to take 7d6 damage as he casts Immolation on him. The d6, 12, 14, 21. 32 points of damage as all around him, just like a flame just erupts. It's like a volcano exploded beneath his feet, just erupting into flame in a 30-foot radius around him. Palethorn kind of takes a step backwards, dodging away from it. And it's going to be Palethorn's turn. As Errol takes a step back and is going to basically step as far away from them as he can. Palethorn's going to rush forward, moving towards... he rushes Sebastian. Sebastian, what's your AC?
200. 15.
Oh, 15. First attack misses with a 13. Second attack misses with a 10. How do you manage to dodge these 2 attacks?
See him coming, and it's not so much as it is a skillful dodge as it is just a panicked dodge. However, after he does that, you point your finger at the creature. Oh, I have to actually take damage? Never mind.
Oh, Hellish Rebuke? Yeah, you have to take damage.
I say, you're lucky you didn't hit me.
Yeah. Oh, you're lucky he didn't hit you. Yeah, Palethorn kind of just like is just swinging. You hear her grunting in frustration as you manage to keep dodging these attacks. Silmir, your turn.
Silmir kind of mutters under his breath. I told you to keep an eye on us, Okrund. You could have warned us about these guys. Help me out. And his familiar is going to swoop down from whatever rooftop he was hiding on, and just kind of get in this guy's way a little bit. The guy who's fighting against Sebastian. He's going to take the help action to give me advantage on my roll. And then he's going to fly away. These owls have something really cool called flyby attack. They don't provoke any attacks of opportunity when they leave an enemy's reach while they're flying. So he's going to swoop in, kind of mess with him a little bit, and then sort of swoop back out. And right as he's fluttering in his face, I am attacking with my rapier, and I'm using the cantrip Booming Blade. So I mutter a few words, and I stick my rapier forward, and we'll see if I hit. I hope that's a hit. That's 15 plus 7, 22.
No, that actually meant no. Yeah, it'll hit. Yeah.
Oh God! All right, and that'll be sneak attack because I had advantage, plus a D8 for the rapier and a D8 for the booming blade. 21 points of damage.
And that was on Palethorn, right? The one who's attacking Sebastian?
Yes, so not the one that was immolated.
Okay, ouch. Yeah. Ow.
And then I am going to use my bonus action to disengage and take a few steps back from him. and sort of cross my arms and lift my head up like, come at me, bro.
Oh, okay. All right, Sebastian, your turn.
Perfect. So I imagine she comes lunging in, stabbing into the wall, which I duck under. Kind of her blade sticks into the wall momentarily, and I start basically spinning around her. I don't disengage or anything, but like I position herself so that I'm in between her and the guy that shanked Briff. And would you say that they're both within 10 feet of me?
Sure.
Yeah. So then at that, she kind of like spins around as me and Sylmia are both on top of her now, stabbing into maybe a table, pushing it aside. And then I look at her and I say, you shouldn't be messing with us. And I will need them both to make a strength saving throw.
Strength saving throw, huh? Interesting.
Ah.
Okay. First one. So Darkthorn is going to get a 15, and Palethorn is going to get a 5.
All right. So the one that rolled a 5 failed, and takes 6 damage, and cannot take reactions until her next turn.
Okay.
And the other guy takes half as bleak like tentacles begin to erupt from me, and I cast Arms of Hadar, as I've reflavored as Arms of the Bleak Wrath. And this black, like purplish energy begins to lick off me and then wrap around them and burn into their flesh.
Yeah, Palethorn screams in pain. Darkthorn is able to dodge it for the most part, though one of them wraps around his leg briefly. He kind of grunts, rolling away.
And then, since she can't take a reaction on me, I'm actually going to move away from her.
Yeah, good idea. So back to the top of the order then with Briff. Death save, my friend.
I shouldn't have bragged about this D20, because the instant I did, it went from, oh, you liked rolling 19s and 20s. Here, have some 1s.
Did you not 1 again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's 2 failures.
Yeah, that's 2 failures.
Don't fail another save. All right. Darkthorn is going to step over Briff's body, rushing towards you. Seeing Palethorn screaming in pain. Silmir and Sebastian. He's going to attack Silmir. 2 attacks coming at you, Silmir. 17 and a 14.
That'll be a hit and a miss.
Okay. So 1 hits. I'm going to need you to make me a con save.
Oh, God. I'm not good at those. I'm a rogue. That's a 10.
Ooh, that's a fail, dude. So that's going to be 32 points of damage as poison just rips through you.
All right. Well, that would be almost enough to kill me, but I will use my uncanny dodge to take that down by half.
Okay, so 16
and
points.
And instead take 16 points of damage.
Worth.
Yeah. The cut just rips through you, and it's a glancing blow, honestly, actually. Like the sword only nicks you, but then suddenly fire is spreading through your veins. And the only thing that saves you is you manage to like grab your arm where he cut you and stop it from flowing into the rest of your body, wrapping a tourniquet essentially around your arm to stop the flow of this poison. I'm going to just call that your uncanny dodge, basically. Darkthorn like snarls in anger and is going to disengage as a bonus action, rolling backwards in an acrobatic tumble back away from you. Errol is going to kind of like turn his attention on Palethorn, who cannot take reactions right now, and is going to use another spell on her. Let's go ahead and do level 3. You see energy begin to crackle around his fingers as he kind of like brings them together, touches his hands briefly, and then points one hand at her. And he's going to use a lightning bolt on her. So she's going to I have to make a dex save. Oh, she doesn't have advantage. It's just a normal save. Roll. Wow, she sucks at saves. Okay, that's a 2 on the die. 9, so she fails. She's going to take 8d6 damage, lightning damage. Ooh, he's rolling low though. Okay, so 27 points of lightning damage as a lightning bolt just shoots from his hand, like burrowing through her chest and slamming into the wall behind her, seeming to phase through her body. She kind of screams in pain, collapsing to a knee. She's now bloodied. Palethorn's turn. She's going to look at Darkthorn, who's going to look back at her, and the two of them are going to move towards the door. You see that they both pull out. She's going to pull out an alchemist vial and throw it on the floor between you and them, setting everything ablaze.
As soon as she moves, she takes 2d8 of damage from my booming blade that I cast on her. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of like have my pose already with my arms crossed, like come at me, bro. And as soon as she moves, I snap my fingers and bam! An enormous sound resonates throughout the room, and she's gonna take 2d8. 9 damage.
Okay. Yeah. It's almost as if like a latent strike explodes across her chest. She screams, kind of backing away, eyes glaring at you, blood dripping, staining her white garb as she backs away towards the door, and her partner does with her too. They both got their blades out.
Did she drop the alchemist fire?
She threw it between the two, all of you, yeah. So it's on the floor between you and them. So she's going to be in the doorway turning onto the street, and her partner is backing up with his swords extended towards you. Oh, wait, and then he can bonus action dash, but he already had his turn, so he's in the doorway.
What do you guys want? Why are you attacking us?
He would just look at you, his eyes narrowing in this mask. You can only see his eyes. The mask is interesting. It looks like it's made of like a porcelain, painted all over it. His mask is black, painted with white roses, while hers is white, painted with black roses. And he would say nothing. His eyes just locked on you and just say, "You will see," as he's backing out. Oh, actually, correction. He says, "You will see Convokers." Yeah, even more ominous. Okay, so he's backing out the door. That's it for Palethorn. Silmir, it's your turn again.
All right, so I have line of sight on one of these assholes, right? Darkthorn?
Yeah, Darkthorn.
I'm going to instruct Akron to distract him again, sort of fly by him, swirl around his head, and while he's distracted, I'm going to shoot him with my longbow.
Okay.
Ooh, and that is going to be a natural 20.
Ouch.
And
the damage.
So that's going to be 3d6 of sneak attack plus 1d8 of longbow. For you with crits, do I add my damage modifier before or after I roll? After I double it? Or how do crits work again? I forget.
You roll your dice, add your modifier double.
Got it. All right. Let's see. Wow. That's 2 1s on the d6s.
Unlucky.
That's still 26 damage.
Ouch. He's still standing. He's bloodied now, though. You see his clothing smoldering, an arrow protruding from his shoulder. He doesn't cry out, though. He just ignores it for the most part.
Great. Yeah, if these guys are retreating, I will take cover.
Okay.
From them somehow in the room if I can. And that's about it for my turn.
Okay, Sebastian.
Which one was the one speaking, Darkthorn or Palethorn?
Darkthorn.
He's gone?
He's in the doorway, backing out right now.
And
separated between the two of you by fire.
And Palethorn is also in the room?
Palethorn's out the door.
All right, Mr. Darkthorn. I guess I don't know your name, but I would reach out to him and say...
maybe save Griff. Could be a good idea.
Oh, yeah, maybe I should save breath. But then getting this guy would be pretty good too. Who's next? Oh gosh. If I make a fail on the medicine check, or can I even medicine check? I don't think I'm proficient in it.
You can still medicine check. Just if you have medicine, you don't have to make a check to stabilize.
Oh, well, fuck. I guess we shouldn't risk Briff's death, so. I will roll to see how focused I am. I rolled a nat 1.
Oh.
So I feel like, Briff, I'm sorry. I'm locked on to this guy. Hopefully that doesn't affect you. I'm sorry. I don't know. I feel really bad if you're going to roll bad. But I said, so wisdom saving throw for Darkthorn.
Okay. That's a 14 on the die. It's an 18.
Oh. Well, then that's just awkward. I say that your mask looks stupid, and he doesn't find that very amusing.
It's vicious mockery.
No, I was trying to do Tasha's hideous laughter to capture him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he doesn't. Yeah, he just like looks at you, gives you this look like really, and then just keeps backing out the door.
Just like shrug my shoulders, like tried. Now I'm gonna feel really bad if you rolled that poorly. So roll higher than a 10.
Okay. So Briff, death save, dude. Here's the
Okay.
moment.
So I'm gonna turn my camera on here so everyone can watch.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, but his con modifier. What's your con modifier?
Does con modifier matter for death saves?
Not
Yeah,
normally.
it's a con save.
Okay, I thought it was a straight D10 or DC 10, D20, whatever.
Yeah, it's a DC 10 con save.
Then I'm all right.
Okay, he's holding on. His breathing's shallow.
Very shallow.
His breath stops for a second, and then he realizes that he gets a con save, and then he starts breathing again. Okay, so Briff is barely holding on. Darkthorn is going to turn, dashing out of the building and rolling towards the fire a vial, like a small tankard, well, not a tankard actually. What would it be? Like a decanter, something like that, of oil, which explodes on the ground, spreading towards you. The fire is now moving, and he'll run out the door. Okay, combat's over unless somebody wants to chase.
No, I won't be a dumbass.
I'm gonna run after him.
You're dead. You shut up.
Not yet.
I might try to get one more shot off.
No, you can't see him anymore unless you were to run through the fire out the door.
Okay, never mind.
Do it.
Dude, fuck that shit. That guy almost one-shot me if I didn't have uncanny dodge.
All right, this time I'll make a medicine check on Briff.
Okay, go ahead.
You said if I have medicine, then I automatically do it.
Yeah, if you have medicine, you automatically succeed. If you don't, you have to make a check.
I'm proficient in it.
Okay, yeah, you stabilize him. Cool. Errol stares out the door and then looks back at the dead Talmor guards. And you see his face is puzzled and surprised and angry, and he doesn't he's confused.
Do you have any magics that could heal us, wizard?
Here, I have one of these, and I could pull out a healing draught for everybody.
One of those dank healing draughts. It's like swamp water with herbs in it.
Yeah, it tastes like shit, but it'll do you good. And anyone that takes it, gets 14 healing.
Oh, wow. That is fantastic. Thank you.
That's actually pretty dang good.
Yeah, I rolled almost max.
Brief, you're back up to 14 hit points.
Okay. So I really shouldn't have done this, but I ended up flipping through the death save section of the book.
Yeah.
It does say it's a straight D20, no modifier.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you want to use an inspiration to try and save yourself?
I'll burn one to save myself.
Hey, go ahead and roll with advantage then, I guess.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, you're still alive.
I'm
Luckily,
still alive.
I didn't know it was a straight check. I thought it was a con save. I've been playing it wrong this whole time. That makes death saves like so much more intense.
Yeah, raw. It's just straight up. I didn't want to correct you though.
Well,
I
have
didn't
no
want to
idea.
be that guy who was like, dude, actually your character's dead.
well, no, like I don't want to be dead either, but just partially because I'm running something tomorrow and a character died last week. I figured probably best to double check it in case he dies 2 weeks in a row.
And I can agree with that.
Yeah, I feel horrible, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So as you're kind of like they're propping you up against the wall, your vision slowly comes back. It's like a receding fog. You'd hear the sound of trampling footsteps approaching the house. And through the door, a large contingency of Talmor guard come bursting. You see that there are about like 15 of them, and they come running through this door. They see the fire, and they like look at each other and start like trying to put it out.
Quick, there's injured guards in here.
Ow.
They've kind of like put out the fire and like walk over to you and like, what are you doing in this part of like they start questioning you, and then they'd see the bodies in the closet and their faces would darken.
I swear it's not what it looks like.
Tell it to the judge.
We were attacked by assassins. They were using the poison known as black lilac dew.
Yeah, it's right here. Can I actually make a for the first time ever use my alchemist or my artificer class to actually try to harvest some of this poison?
Yeah.
And maybe use it as
Make
proof?
me a nature check.
Nature, damn it. That's not what I was going for.
You're the worst alchemist ever.
20. Unnatural.
No way.
I take that back.
The best alchemist ever, okay?
You were able to harvest a small amount.
Oh.
Yeah, as far as we know, you are.
See right here, this is the black lilac dew. It's the poison that the masked assassins used on your compatriots.
You said that like such like a connoisseur of poisons. It's the black lilac dew.
It's my specialty. It's supposed to be my specialty before I made a deal with a dragon.
With a bleak dragon, yes.
Yeah. Even then, I don't know if that's a good thing to be a connoisseur for when talking to guards who've never met you.
It's
We
the
more
black lilac dew.
For
Is
that.
it yeah, you're like, it's the black lilac dew, an incredibly rare, unknown poison that many don't know about or know how to distill or process. But I do.
I know all about it.
I know. Okay, they'd be like look at each other and they'd look back at you and slap manacles on your wrist and drag you to the palace.
Hey, that's not called for here.
How about it's the black lilac, don't you, assassin scum?
Damn it, he used my own line.
They drag you up the street towards the palace.
I'd be like looking.
We all get manacled.
Yeah.
Errol's taken that. He's not saying anything. Isn't this guy
He
a
wouldn't say
legend?
anything. This guy a legend.
Take me to the bog queen, you bastards.
Yeah, he says that. He says that and gets a rough fist across the face.
No, I'm saying that.
Oh, okay, you get a rough fist across the face then.
Damn it. I don't like authority.
As I take every step, ow, 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 just moaning and groaning in pain.
All right. Bog Queen it is.
You're like, yes, we're here to see the bog queen. Take us there. Just try and make it seem like this is what you wanted. Okay, yeah, they take you up to the palace, and throw you in a dank prison cell.
Wait, you weren't handcuffing us to give us an audience with the Bog Queen?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. We are kind of pressed for time. If you could
You get slapped firmly. Just
Oh, fuck. While he's
120 damage.
while he's leaving, I use my mage hand to pickpocket the key to our manacles.
Gangster.
Okay, roll me sleight of hand.
I'm pretty good with sleight of hand.
Please roll high.
That's a 2 on the die, plus 7 is 9.
Your hand is totally notices moving the keys, and you get a punch in the gut,
Oh.
followed by a kick across the face. Roll me a con save to see if it knocks you out.
Probably does. Yep, natural 1.
Okay, you're out, just like a light. Actually, it snaps your neck and kills you. I'm just kidding. So you're kicked across the face, knocked out, thrown in the cell with the rest of them, and the doors shut behind you, and you're left in the darkness.
Fuck.
Errol is kind of like sitting in the corner quietly. Well, that went much worse than expected. And that is where we'll end the session.
Good shrug. This is usually how it ends up for us.
So let's go ahead and do outros. Go ahead, start Alex. We'll end with Michael.
All right, Alex Brady here. I don't have a channel or anything to plug, but I hang out a lot on the AdTab group. Yeah, if you see me around there, let's game. It's been a blast playing Silmir. I really like it. Arcane Trickster, man. Rogue is so much fun. So that's about all I have to say. Thanks you guys for playing. Thanks for DMing Ty.
All right. You already know who it is. It's me again for the second time now. Thanks, Ty, for running the game. It's good to get back in this. Hopefully, even though we say this every time, we can be a little bit more steady with it. But other than that, a lot of fun playing, and until next time.
I'm going to end it with a question. How soon or how long should it be okay to wait before you have a general idea for what character you want to play if yours dies?
I always have one on backup. So, I mean...
Okay, so I'm okay then. Good. Because instant that one rolled, Briff's replacement was already being thought of. So almost died in 2 games in a row for you. Hopefully this doesn't become a tradition to end games almost dead. A lot of fun.
When has it not been a tradition for this campaign?
Good point. Either way, you know what? Let's see if next session we can end with me having full HP.
Don't plan on it. We'll see, though.
Hey, I'm full HP for the first time in ever.
You gotta be more like Sebastian.
Either way, hi, Michael. No outro.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for playing. As always, if you like the game, feel free to like and subscribe. As always, I hope you find yourselves in your games on a roll. We out.